And this is actually something I wanted to ask you before I forget. Like, I feel like my autism is getting worse as I age. It's interesting because when I very first, I think maybe like the first video I ever posted back when I was had gotten diagnosed in 2020, there were older autistic people saying that like, oh, like autism has gotten worse for me. It gets worse as you get older. And like, not that I'd ever thought about it, but like if I were to think about it, I would have thought the opposite, like it would get better or easier with time. But I'm like, my sensitivity issues are getting worse. My capacity to do things is getting less. It's a little disheartening and like a bummer, I guess, to put it nicely.
The inconvenient truth, the unfortunate truth is that, you know, autism is nothing but a different brain. It's a, you know, neurodevelopmental condition. Now, unfortunately, if our disability is purely our brain, and I asked you a question, the human brain, as the human brain ages, does the human brain, you know, get better and stronger, or does it start to age? You'd answer that pretty quickly, you know. So, like my muscles, as I get older, are my muscles going to get better and stronger, or are they going to get weaker? Unfortunately, it's a human body. It's flesh and bone. It's an organ. You know, it's not our soul. It's not our spirit. So yes, everyone's brain with aging is going to decline. Now, if what makes you you is based on having a different brain, that your brain, as part of aging, unless we can cure aging, is going to decline. Now, if all your challenges come from a different brain and your brain is declining through aging, like everyone's does, then clearly your challenges are going to get harder because you know, clearly it's your cognitive function is declining. So the unfortunate truth is people like to laugh about when people say the disproportionate life expectancy rates, right? People like to laugh about that, and that's cool because there are autistic people who are 70, 80, 90, whatever, but they are disproportionately, like, you know, some in the ballpark of 20 to 30 years less on average. Now, that can be for many different factors. Some people, you know, it can be mental illness and other things. But the fact of the matter is, cognitive decline is, for the most part, in general terms, hand in hand with being an autistic person. So life does not get easier, and it's, you know, and you're not saying this, but autism doesn't get watered down over time. You know, in fact, I've always said this. I find autism, you know, only gets harder. And of course, if you're going to throw more challenges into the mix, like I've done, you know, in my life, then that's going to speed up that process. So this shouldn't be a depressing thing. It should be an empowering thing, and that is, what can I do to keep my body and mind healthy, to keep it engaged, you know, to keep it learning and growing, and that's the empowering thing you can do to overcome these issues. So you clearly experience, like we all do, your challenges seem to be, you know, getting worse, not better. And yes, of course they are, because, you know, even when you were a kid, you didn't have a husband and bills and stresses and life. You're a kid. Right. Life's easy, yeah? So, you know, life is about more and more stresses and demands, and, you know, you actually combine that with cognitive decline, because you're a human with a brain and you're aging. It is what it is. We're born to die, mate. That's the way it is. So, you know, so it's one of those things where it can be depressing, and I get it, but it's not. Just, you know, you just have to find the things that help you. Like, what keeps you ticking? What keeps you engaged? You know, and, you know, learning new things, doing new things, keeping yourself busy. You know, actively using your body and your mind will definitely help you with your challenges. But also, as you get to understand your challenges, you can build in more supports, right? And you have more. And also, too, you can let yourself down by your expectations. And remember, you know, your boundaries and expectations. There's only so long you can allow people to get away with being how they are before it becomes completely, you know, untenable, before you reach the threshold. Now, people might let this slide for their whole life, but, you know, and good on them, but it's not going to work out for them. So it's about boundaries and expectations. Boundaries are about being really hard and fast with people. I don't care who you are in my life, this is no longer acceptable. And expectations are the reverse. They're like, I'm going to tell myself I can't have expectations anymore on being the real normal guy or the real housewife or this or that. This is me. These are my expectations. These are what society wants me to have expectations, and these are mine. So it's about, really, you have to take control and mitigate it. But, I hope that makes sense. That's pretty much why your life is becoming harder by the day. And you can empower yourself by saying, okay, enough is enough. I'm going to keep my mind happy and my body happy and, do things that help me and encourage me and reset my expectations and put in good, clean boundaries, and enjoy your life. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. And I love the way you put it because it made perfect sense to me.